What is going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. Happy April. It is the 2nd of April of 2023. Can you imagine that we're already through? We're in the 4th month of 2023, folks. There's only 12 months. We're a third of the way through, if I guess technically a fourth of the way through if you want to go it based off quarters. But my goodness, what an incredible time to be here. I hope everyone is having a fantastic weekend. We have so much good things going for us, so much positivity, so much love. So just keep an eye on the prize and don't lose focus on what it is. I see so many people commonly get caught up in the little moments that we experience in the book of life and the chapters and the pages that we read. But don't let that stop you from going out and living your best life either. Like, it's an amazing time to be here. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day as always. We're going to let a few people roll in, but guys, we're just here to have fun. Today's more or less a nice little hangout stream. We're going to go about, just chatting with each other, right? Just go about having a little fun ideas, bouncing ideas off each other. Let me go ahead and retweet out the stream. Hey, Aaron says, smash the freaking like if you're a future millionaire, and smash it 3 times if you hate Richard Hart. What's going on, Aaron? Happy Sunday to all of you beautiful people. I'm going to get to the chat here in just a second. Of course, we got to do a little shout out on this tweet real fast once again. So let's go ahead and pull this up. Again, guys, I hope everyone's having a fantastic weekend. We're going to take a little gander to see, what's going on. There's the Genesis Ethereum whale back in the mix once again, buying up some hex price. And they've already staked it as well. So just good stuff happening, guys. Really good stuff. Don't let these little fluctuations in price have the emotional control over you. That's what this is all about right now. Like, sometimes we let these experiences get the best of us, and they actually get essentially an emotion that we do not like, and they let out this emotion that we don't show, and unfortunately it gets the best of people a lot of the times, right? And so it turns us against each other. All this stuff that you could want. It's essentially the Matrix just trying to create us divided, so we always stay divided, right? But hey, appreciate that once again. Oh man, Whales Only. He is we're gonna have some fun with Whales Only as well. Got a surprise lineup interview with him happening in the next week. So if y'all are wanting to make sure to not miss out on that, feel free to be sure to subscribe to the channel. Of course, as always, we have some amazing guests that we bring on the stream, and he is going to be one of the bigger guests that we've had on the stream so far. I'm super excited to have him on and really just listen to all the insight that he has to say, man. That's what I'm here to learn. You know what I mean? I'm right here with y'all. I know a lot of the times it seems like someone may have all the answers, and I can assure you that no one has all the answers, and we all learn together, but we learn through the mistakes of either other or ourselves. And at this point in time, I cannot wait to learn from what Whales Only has to say. So, again, let me retweet out this stream real fast. We are live. Live stream. Sunday Fun Day. ATX Crypto. If I can spell my own name right. Oh my goodness. All right, let me get this going. Again, guys, I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. We're just here to have some fun. We're here to relax. Obviously, you can always stay up to date with everything, right? You can always know what's going on. Guys, it's just it's a fun day Sunday, right? Sunday fun day. Sunday fun day. All right, here we go. And get the link to the stream. And whoops, I don't even have the stream up right now. Interesting. All right, well, let me go ahead and get my own stream up right now so I can see in case anything comes through, see in case anyone happens to appear that sends me a link or anything that they'd like for me to check out. I'm more than happy to go through and check all this out with you as well. And there we go. Once again, boom. There's a live one. All right, cool. Copy and paste. All right, so we're going to have today's, again, just a little bit of a fun, relaxing, chill Sunday, guys. It's been a crazy week, as you've seen. We've had so many things happening. We've had so many things going on. So yeah, let's say what's up to everyone. Let everyone start rolling through. If y'all have questions, obviously feel free to drop them in the chat. Let me know. I'm more than happy to go through that as well with you. Gloria asked, hello, Gloria, by the way. Love you dearly. Happy Sunday to all ATXicans. Looking forward to the stream today. Thank you again, Gloria. Much love to you. What's up, Crypto Elite? You did make the stream. You missed the one yesterday, but you made it today. Much love to you. Much love, much love. Chris Crypto says, happy Sunday, Gloria, ATX, and everyone. It's always a great day. Absolutely. Yeah, the pup's just doing circles around me right now. It is definitely always a great day. This is facts on facts, guys. It's one of those things that it's one of those things that whenever you look at some of these moments in time, you just got to appreciate everything. Did you just paw at the door? Oh no, you just laid down. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you always have to appreciate all these little moments in time, all the stuff that you're going through right now, all the thoughts, all the struggles, all the trials, all the tribulations, all of that just comes to test your mental fortitude, your mental capacity, to make sure that you're actually ready to be the person who you think and prepare and mentally thought yourself that you actually are. So for some, I saw a post from Jake Sharp, for example, where basically it said, you have to start preparing and thinking like a millionaire. You have to start doing everything as if you are already a millionaire. You have to do things once you have the mindset for a millionaire. And you don't say, I'm going to become a world champion and then start training to become a world champion. No, you have to prepare everything right now. You have to do the training right now. You have to literally get everything set forth to prepare yourself to become the world champion. That's just how it is. You have to actually put in work. And right now, the patience is testing everybody, right? It's testing everyone. We got the hopium back to all-time highs. You got the price of Hex going up and down and up and down and all around. And so all of these things for some people put a lot of strain and stress on their own mental health. So please make sure that your mental health is good. Make sure that you're okay to get through all this, guys, because mental health is not something to be laughing at. It's no laughing matter, right? If you're struggling through some of these things, social media is a big factor for a lot of people, where sometimes just shutting off social media, while it sounds like an easy thing to do, can be the best thing possible for you. Sometimes just getting away from Twitter, where you can go through and read, 10,000 posts within the span of 30 minutes to an hour. At the end of it, you may not be any better off. You may have not done anything better for yourself, right? Sometimes just getting out and doing a quick little jumping jack exercise, or working out while you're cleaning dishes, or anything, whatever, cooking dinner, whatever. Just go make yourself a meal, learn how to, make some brownies. I don't know. Just get yourself out of the situation as fast as you can to make sure that you're good and you're ready for what's coming. Because guys, we are future millionaires. Like, it is happening. It's just a matter of time. But again, that time is putting a lot of strain on a lot of folks. So I hope everyone is ready to go along this struggle and train and roller coaster ride with us, because guys, it's going to be a blast. Absolutely, yes, Crips Crypto. Much love to you, my friend. Much love to every single one of you beautiful people who show up day in, day out through these live streams. Much love to everyone who clicks on the replay gang and replay squad and becomes an ATX again, becomes a subscriber of the channel, comments on the channel, and just participates in the overall activity with this growth of the channel. It's so much fun. It's a blast to join with you as well. Let's do this. Happy Sunday. Facing reality. Happy Sunday to you as well, my friend. Ron, smash the freaking like. Exactly. If you are a future millionaire. There you go. Smash it, folks. Smash it 3 times if you hate Richard Hart. Nuna Alvaro. Hello. Cheers. There's a whale accumulating right now. Big green candle this evening. Yeah, exactly. There's definitely a whale happening. I believe it's the same Genesis Ethereum whale who purchased, I want to say it was 3 months ago. And, you know, kind of sent the price, not 3 months ago, was it 2 months ago? They really started sending that price all the way up again. And what was cool about it, they had at one point in time 10,000 Ethereum, Genesis Ethereum, mind you. These are Ethereum coins from the actual Genesis block when Ethereum was first launched. So they are just now spending some of these tokens, which you can imagine how long of delayed gratification that person has been holding for. So congrats to this particular entity. But right now they're back down. They have roughly about 8,500 Genesis Ethereum right now, which is still an insane amount. And they just recently bought another 1,000 worth of Ethereum into Hex, and they've been buying, and that's what that price is doing at this point in time, where they have the price continuing to go up. If I'm not mistaken, it looks like it's the same whale, but let me see if I can find out, because I should be able to find something that says at least Genesis on here. But it may not. It may just be a completely different, another Ethereum whale, right? We call them Ethereum whales, but I mean, holding more than 5,000 Ethereum is quite a bit, you know, even at the current price right now. Even like it's what, 5,000 times 1,800. Yeah, you're looking still roughly about $9 million right there. That's pretty solid, folks. That's pretty freaking solid. And that's just at 5,000 Ethereum, let alone when you actually start getting well above that, even higher and higher and higher. Now, I guess this person is not a Genesis Ethereum wallet holder, if I'm looking correctly. Let me go back to the very last page just to see if I can see anything from here. Maybe they moved something from this address. Let me go over here and look at this address real quick and see if they're holding anything over here. Nope, nothing over here. Interesting. Cool. Well, this person has been just a massive influence here in the most recent pricing of the Hex price. Yeah, definitely seeing some green candles again. Not only have they been buying some Ethereum, they actually went and staked that Ethereum for 33 days. So they just staked roughly, on average, I want to say it was like 22 million Ethereum, if I'm not mistaken, or 22 million Hex, my bad. And they ended up just now, 22 million Hex, and they staked it out for 33 days. Guys, that's pretty darn solid right there, right? Like, let me just do a quick little Hex calc real fast. Obviously, I know the Hex whale thing probably already shows all this information, but I like typing some of this in myself. 22 million right there for 33 days, even at the current price of 8 cents. That still gives them roughly about 849 T-shares roughly, which is incredible. And not only that, they actually get to accrue during this 33-day stake, assuming they do not do anything extra, roughly an extra $14,000 per month in yield. That's pretty solid. That's assuming that the price stays flat. That's assuming that the payout is actually at 6.3, which we already know it's actually on average now 6.4. So the math that I just calculated is still lower than what they're getting. So congrats to this new person in the ecosystem. I don't know how long they've been following the Hex ecosystem here for, but these are all within the last hour. Let me see if I can go back and see like when they really started looking maybe into Hex and that kind of stuff as well. If you want me to show this on screen, definitely leave a comment in the message down below, and I'm more than happy to show it on screen. Otherwise, I'm just kind of taking a little gander at this particular site and seeing, I'm seeing if, you know, maybe I can go back and look a little bit further back on here too. So give me one moment while I do a little search. Cool. All right, but while we're waiting on that to load, let me say what's up to everyone once again. All of you beautiful people coming in here, tuning in. It's a fun day. It's such an amazing time to be here in this ecosystem. Let's go max just to see if they've ever participated before. So they actually had some transactions done roughly at the end of February. Other than that, they have not been participating. So they just started getting involved roughly at the end of February. They got roughly around 28 million Hex at that point in time. It looks like they went ahead and staked it as well, because they have staked it here. They're winning, folks. They're winning. They are definitely winning. Let me actually go look at their hex right now, and let me see their actual stakes as well. Whoops, I'm on testnet right now. But yeah, guys, if y'all have any questions as well, leave them down in the chat. We're just here hanging out, having fun. It's just an overall easy, relaxing day that we're talking about, chilling. All right, get back to Ethereum. And cool. Open up this one here. Zoom out a smidge. There you go. Copy from clipboard. All right, so let's see what's up to everyone once again. Yeah, there's definitely that whale coming through right now. The whale's coming through, accumulating that big green candle right now in Hex. What's up, Gabriel? How are you, my friend? Yeah, Shanghai update is on the 12th, or at least expected to roll out on the 12th as of right now. They've delayed before already, so we just have to really wait and see if they actually release and roll out the update. Until it's released, I don't really have, I guess, any thoughts one way or another. I would like to see, hopefully, Pulse Chain before the Shanghai fork. That way, if we want to implement the Shanghai fork ourselves, we can do that later. But if we fork Ethereum and it's already rolled out, then again, you can't do anything about it. It is what it is. We're doing an entire system state copy. Now, when it comes down to like, what do I think of the overall like pricing happening, and do I see anything happening with Ethereum or anything like that? They're gonna if y'all aren't familiar with it, the Shanghai update is allowing essentially the stakers who have staked their Ethereum for the proof of stake system E2.0 to actually withdraw their stakes. They have not been able to withdraw their stakes this entire time. So for some folks, they are going to take that money, and just like we have some folks who are going to cash out and profit when Pulse Chain launches, some folks just got to have that cash. They've waited. They didn't think it was going to take so long for everything to come through or update, and they're going to cash out right away. Some folks are, in fact, going to do that. They are going to do a slow release when it comes to the actual update, though. They aren't just going to allow everyone to pull all of their stakes all at once. I don't know the ins and outs of everything at that point in time, but I know that during this time, they are going to be essentially waiting and doing a slow release. Some folks are going to continue holding their stakes, and it won't affect them whatsoever. They'll just have the option to pull their stakes if they want to in the future. Some folks are going to change their Ethereum and get into some altcoins before everything starts really pumping before the bull cycle. Other folks are, in fact, going to move over into different tokens, right, and sell. And there's going to be a lot happening. So it's just a pretty interesting thing. But at this point in time, yeah, do I think it's going to affect anything? No, I don't think it's going to affect anything on our end. Hello, lovely Hexkin family. What's going on, Cookie de Chocolata? How are you, my lovely friend? Patreon supporter right there. Much love to you. Chillin' Sunday. Absolutely. Yeah, we're just here to having fun, folks. We're just here having fun. Chris Crypto asks, please talk about single-sided staking and how it works. Neville Goddard says, live in the end, live in the end. Live like your goals are already achieved and watch them come alive. Facts on facts. He says, hit the like button, everyone. Thanks. So to go back on the single-sided staking, it'd be a lot easier if we had access to V2B. I could kind of show you what it looked like back then, but even then they ended the single-sided staking. So it's one of those things with single-sided staking, you only have to put up one pair, which in this case will be Pulse X. So what's going to happen with single-sided staking? The idea is that a new project's going to launch, and they're going to say, hey, I would love support from the ecosystem, from the community. If you provide some liquidity and you put up your single-sided pair, which is Pulse X in this scenario, we'll pay you out this yield. It'll be the reward token, whatever that token is. And so the reward token will be typically divvied up into another token in particular. It won't be Pulse X most likely, because like, why would you want to? That doesn't make sense. So you would end up staking your Pulse X, providing for this new token, saying, hey, here's some funds to go about getting it. And for doing that, they're actually going to provide you a reward. And this reward is going to actually be able to provide you, again, the ability to earn some passive income. Because typically when you put up liquidity and you have to provide two pairs, there's such a thing called impermanent loss. Well, with single-sided staking, you aren't giving up any of your tokens. You're simply just putting it in this little ecosystem, saying that you're providing support for it. And what's cool about it is you can actually start earning some additional fees from it. And then when you want to pull that, you can. So you don't have to worry about one coin running off and doing something crazy and then you being left with a bag of the worthless coin or the coin that's worth less. That's an easy way to explain it. Again, when the time comes and we do actually see the ability to do some single-sided staking, I think that would be a lot easier to really showcase how it all works right there. So let me see if I can just pull this up once again, because someone was saying that the V2B site no longer works, and yet I'm in here right now, so it's pretty interesting. Okay. Yeah, so like you can see here, this is what it used to look like. Oops, this is what it used to look like. So this was the essential one, and the PRT was the Pulse Reward token. It was going to be the token that you receive from providing your PLSX. So essentially what you could do is you could say stake within this pool, provide some PLSX, and you would earn whatever reward token that they're giving. So if there's a new protocol coming out, I'm just going to use Hedron for example. Say Hedron comes out and they say, hey, if you provide some staking over here with your Pulse X, we'll make sure that you're rewarded with some Hedron. That's going to be their reward token. Their reward token is going to change for every single entity, and the APR is going to change depending upon how many people are involved, just like with Hex. If you have 100% max participation in staking, the APR is 3.69%. If you have 1% of everybody staking and there's only 1% of the amount of people who are actually staking, the APR is 369%, right? Well, this APR is going to also fluctuate depending upon how many people stake, how many people provide the liquidity within the single-sided staking. So again, you are going to be able to see this. It will go live. Typically, the way it works is these will actually get voted in, if I'm not mistaken, through a DAO. But again, we don't have all the ins and outs of how all this works. Easy way to explain it is, again, you stake your PLSX, you're going to earn some sort of reward token, whatever token that they're given. The APR is going to fluctuate, probably pretty high in the beginning for those people who can capture it. Thousands of percent of APR, because again, the less people that stake, the more the reward. The more people that stake, the less the reward, and you're going to see a lot of people try to get in on things that have high APR. You just have to be mindful of what you're connecting with, what you're doing everything for, but they should allow this pretty simple way of doing it. You enable the pool, you invest your PLSX, and then you get to harvest whatever token that they're providing for the reward. That's an easy example of how all that works for single-sided staking. Again, when the time comes, I will make a video. When you try to explain that, just like I'm explaining right now, it's much easier to see when you actually see it in person and you can see the actual, how it all plays out in the end. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for right now. I'm really wanting to see either V3 roll out with it, or whenever Pulse Chain goes live, I'll also be doing videos on that same thing as well, the same topic. So Chris Crypto, just keep in mind that video is in fact coming, folks. That video will be coming. Cookie to chocolate. Much love to you. Much love. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Why is so much stuff missing on testnet V3? And there's $0 price for every token. Yeah, absolutely, Gabriel. So the reason why everything's missing on testnet V3 right now is because what we're seeing is user front end, right? Like, everything in the underlying code of PulseX and Pulse Chain is basically everything's good to go from what I can see. What you're seeing on V3 is just a user interface of a front-end interface of how you can interact with the contract. All they're doing is not providing all the interactions between the contract. That doesn't necessarily mean... I think we have I think our guests are here right now. Give me 1 second. I see somebody up front at the house. Let me just make sure the wife's gonna come greet them real quick. They're doing a little puppy play date. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, she's already out there. She got the same notification, it looks like. All right, cool. Oh goodness. All right, so the Yeah, so Gabriel, what you're seeing right now, to answer the question, I'm sorry I got distracted. It's Sunday, folks. We're just here having fun. We just want to enjoy each other's company, answer some questions along the way, of course, as you already know. So when you go to, I'll show you the example. Let me just pull them both up together. Whoops. I didn't realize that my phone was going to play the audio. So when you actually play when you actually pull up, say, V2B, okay? So this here is V2B. Can I do this where it's on half screen? Oh man, how do you do this? Do y'all know how to do this on Mac where you can make it to where the window's like half the screen? Well, I know I can just, resize, I guess. I was really hoping there's an easier way. Okay, cool. Well, if not, let me just put this here. And this will be V2B. And then let me put this here, and this one's V3. So go over here, move that here, and then showcase this one. All right, cool. So V2, V3. These are kind of the differences, compare and contrast almost, right? So you can see for one, there's actually a price on V2B because at one point in time, there was a bridge. We had the ability to bridge in money over into the test net. Now, again, this is not real money. It's all play money. It's all fake money. It's all paper money. None of this is real. But at one point in time, there was such a thing as a pulse bridge or a pulse ramp. The website worked, and you could bridge in tokens, you could bridge in dollar value, which is why there's actually dollar value assigned. Pulse V3 testnet does not have a bridge. In fact, at this point in time, it doesn't allow the ability to bridge anything in. So everything will have a $0 value until a bridge exists. And until a bridge exists, it will maintain a $0 value, and everything will only be traded within ratios. So if you see that it takes a week, for example, and I don't know if it should take that long, but they also, I'm sure Richard Hart didn't think it would take this long for a bridge to be created for testnet, because Pulse Ramp was the main website we would all use, right? And I'll show you real fast. Pulse Ramp was the main website we would all use. It was an easy website. It actually is a fork of another bridge that's actually been tried and true and tested, and it works out very well. It's never had any issues, but the issue is they still have it connected to the RinkB testnet. So unfortunately, as long as it's connected to RinkB, there is no, because RinkB no longer exists. There is no more Ethereum RinkB network. There is no testnet for RinkB on Ethereum anymore. So until the bridge redirects everything to Gorelli, which they haven't done at this point in time, or until someone else creates a bridge to create value, we will not have value assigned to any of these tokens. So a little bit unfortunate there, because you still can't quite get an idea of like where everything's gone and what the price is and what everything has happened. But at the same time, look at everything that's kind of different. So right away, you can notice on V2B, there was a limit order here. There's no limit order here. Now, that doesn't mean that V3 doesn't allow, or that the Pulse X doesn't allow limit orders, folks. Again, user interface is different than what you're seeing. User interface is so much different than what you're seeing. Let me zoom out on myself just a smidge. Camera effects and... Whoops, I need those. Okay, cool. And let me zoom out on myself just a smidge. Cool. All right. So to go back in here, there you go. That's a little bit better. To go back in here, we are looking here at the differences between V2 right now and V3 for the Pulse X testnet. Okay, so limit orders was a thing. Limit orders no longer a thing right now. There was such a thing as the whole info where you can actually burn tokens. We are waiting for that. But look at this. You would see burn, voting, bridge, PLSX staking. Of course, all of these are not here on V3. There is no burn, but we know that the buy and burn functions still exist. And how do we know this? Well, you can actually go look at the actual blockchain, or the blockchain scanner for a Pulse chain. And what you see when you get that is you actually end up having the ability, you actually end up having the ability to come in here, for example, and see, you can go into tokens and you can still go to all, go to PLSX once again, and you can click write contract. So the function still exists to burn. You can see it right here. You can choose if you understand how to write the contract and how to get it all done. If you don't understand it though, it's not going to make any sense, because you do have to have a burn from address. You do have to have the burn. You have to have all this, but the contract itself still has the function. However, we don't see it within our test nets. So there's some differences there. Right from the jump. Again, the dollar value, there's no bridge. So you see how this one says bridge? There is no bridge. There is no bridge at this point in time. There's no way to bridge in value. So until there's a bridge, there's no way to get it done. So with trade, you had limit orders. With trade, you don't have limit orders. Okay, again, front end, completely different. Farms are going to look very similar, but you can notice how the farms on V3 only show one pair. There's going to be thousands of pairs, if not hundreds of pairs at least, that you're going to be able to farm and provide liquidity and do an LP token. If you don't understand LP and how it works, now is the time to start learning that. There is such a thing as an impermanent loss. And in fact, someone really cool came out in the community with the ability to actually calculate that. Poseidon actually did, if I'm not mistaken. So let me pull it up here. So Poseidon actually came out with this little impermanent loss calculator, which is really cool, where you can basically say like how much you wanted to invest. So say you had $10,000, the initial token price of token A will just say is 0.001, just say Pulse, and say the initial token price of Pulse X is 0.005. Well, what if Pulse Chain goes and does a 10x during that time? And what if during that time, Pulse X only goes and does a 2x during that time, okay? So you would actually see, you would actually have a difference of 25%. Essentially, you would have to start with 5 million Pulse X, or Pulse Chain, my bad. You would have to start with 10 million Pulse X, because it's done in ratios. When Uniswap V2 is here, everything is done in ratios. If you have $10,000, you have to put 5,000 of one pair, 5,000 of the other pair, and based on the initial token prices, that's what this is saying. This is giving you $5,000 worth of Pulse Chain. This is giving you $5,000 worth of Pulse X. The future token, you would end up only holding 2.2 million, so you would lose the 2.3 million or 2.8 million tokens essentially right here, right, for Pulse Chain. And you would end up accruing almost 12 million tokens of Pulse X. If you decide to pull your liquidity at that point in time, that is when you make that impermanent loss permanent, okay? So essentially at the end, you would have an LP value of $44,000, where if you had just held and not provided liquidity at all, you would end up with a portion of $60,000. Now, again, I hope that makes sense, but you can kind of see what I'm referring to right here. So the difference in percentage would be roughly about 25% had you just done nothing. But you also have to factor in that during this time you're providing liquidity, you're also earning yield. You're also earning a certain amount of fee for providing liquidity. So this doesn't factor in the amount of fees that you're going to make based on that. This is just saying that numbers of numbers and what it is to what it is. This is excluding the amount of yield that you would actually earn. This is just saying that impermanent loss is real. And if you don't understand impermanent loss, then you could end up getting wrecked. Because say the price of Pulse Chain, for example, goes back down, and maybe here it only goes and does a 5x, so it drops down 50% from what it was. And this one goes up, and it actually at that point in time now goes up to 0.002. So you've done a good little adjustment here. Well, look here, you've actually got a difference in percentage of only 6.2%. I know you can't really see it because I'm blocking it right now, but you have a difference of 6.2%. So if you had done an LP value at the beginning, and during that entire time providing liquidity, you would have $45,000 worth of tokens, right? But at the same time, if you had held, you would only have $45,000. So if you just hold and not make your impermanent loss permanent, then you can have a chance to actually make up the difference, where you actually end up accruing some extra fees from providing liquidity. But again, if that's way over your head, you can either start learning it now, or just kind of stay away from providing liquidity. Let's just leave it like that. I hope that makes sense for some folks. But there's a lot of stuff that we are not seeing on V3 that is still in the underlying code. The underlying code of Pulse X has not changed. It is a fork of Uniswap v2. All of the stuff that you can provide within Uniswap v2 is getting forked over, and all the stuff that you're going to see is going to happen over here. It's just an underlying code that you're seeing as a difference. You're still going to be able to provide limit orders. You're still going to have that buy and burn function. You're still going to be able to vote for different protocols to come into existence. All of these things are going to happen, okay? So it's just a matter of waiting until it actually happens and waiting until it actually ends up getting done. But I hope that makes sense for some folks who may have been a little bit confused. Crypto Freedom, what's up? ATX, LFG, absolutely. Hex Pulse and Pulse X for the win. Much love, my friend. Chris Crypto, thanks, buddy. Yeah, of course. There's going to be, I am making videos, trust me. When the time comes and it makes sense, you have to actually see it in person. You don't have to see it in person for it to make a lot more sense, but when you can hear someone talk about it, when you can see it done visually and put everything all together and become a kinesthetic learner type deal, that is when it's going to be it'll make a lot more sense to you than what I just may have explained. Because unless you really follow and track the entire time, I know sometimes I'll just like and go completely sideways and get distracted or whatever. So it's tough, but when you're able to actually see a quick little 5-10 minute video like I'm making for all these little how-to for test nets right now, all of the stuff that I'm making will still pertain when Pulse Chain launches too. So if you want, y'all are welcome to share them with maybe friends or family or anyone who may be newer to the ecosystem of crypto. I try to keep things in a very easy to understand way to explain, like how to connect your MetaMask, how to import tokens onto your MetaMask, you know, how to provide liquidity, how to do yield farming, what is yield farming, and all of these things. So I'm getting all these done for sure. I want to see all the stuff to play on testnet v3 for sure. Don't we all, Gabriel? That's, you know, like as much as, man, yes, don't we all? Facts on facts, Gabriel. Let me just say that. ATX, you hip to the Curve protocol? I don't use it a ton. I like it for its simplicity. Hope they support Pulse Chain. Yeah, so that's another protocol. That's what I'm saying. There's tons of different protocols that are out there that allow all of it to be done. Curve is definitely one of them. You know, there's a ton of different stuff that you can do all this kind of yield farming on as well. And that's kind of what you can mess with. I really only mess with stuff on the Ethereum network. Yes, you pay more in fees and that kind of stuff. I'm hearing my wife and everything talk outside, and just want to make sure everything's all good. But yeah, for sure. I'm familiar with it. There's not too much to test on V3. I don't know what to do. Haha. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's done on purpose too, Gabriel. Like, think about it. There's a lot of folks who aren't familiar with any of this stuff, and so just starting out with the simple little thing of how to trade between tokens, how to import tokens, how to look at liquidity, all of this stuff, they want to keep it so simple, because if you throw, it's like if you were to onboard someone into Hex and you gave them 50 different websites to look at, and all of them are great, and every single one can teach them something that they did not know before. That is way overwhelming for so many people so often. And so having an easy to use interface, while it's boring for a lot of folks who may be already familiar with how to do some of this stuff, it's very useful for someone who has not done any of this stuff before. Because if you show someone this protocol right here, for example, where you can go into farms, and I can show you like this right here, and you can look at these two, which one's easier to explain to someone? The one that has all of these farms. Now again, this one only has 5, granted, but there's so many farms that are out there, it's not even funny. But this one only had 5, right? And you could even see there's no finished farms even right now. So this one had 5 to keep it simple. That was V2B. They said, how can we make it even simpler? Because for some people, they're like, what's PRT? What's the INC? What's INC first PLSX? What is all this? My gosh, it's too much. And then they get overwhelmed. It's the problem that a lot of people experience, where they take in so much information, they get overwhelmed, they can't do anything after that point in time. They become what am I trying to say, man? Oh my goodness. I'm drawing a blank on what I'm trying to say, so it's kind of crazy. It's probably doing exactly what we're talking about right now, where your mind just kind of like shuts down for a second. Clearly, that just happened to me. But yeah, with PLSX to PLS, it's like, dude, here's how it works. It's a two-farm pull. Understand this part first, and if you can understand the basics of this section right here, then you're gonna be able to do a little bit better when the time comes to actually start doing yield farming. Because like right now, yield farming is no longer a thing even on V2B, but you can still do yield farming right now on you can actually do yield farming right now on PLSX, right? And so it's going to be pretty interesting. That's an easy way to explain, but hopefully that makes a little bit more sense for some folks as well. As to yeah, there definitely isn't too much to do, but if you have the ability to just kind of walk people along the process, it makes it so much easier to be able to start running when mainnet goes live. Yeah, no, Windows, you click and drag to the left or right. I know, Jake, that's what I'm saying. I've had Windows for, I mean, since I started with computers when I, grew up. My mom worked for the University of Texas, and she handled all of the Blackboard stuff. And the cool part was, and if you're not familiar with all that, don't worry. But the cool part was she has this like technological mind too, and so she came home with all this stuff, but it was always Windows. So I grew up on Windows. Even when you go to school, it's all Windows, right? Because it's cheaper, it's more inexpensive. It has the ability to customize and do a lot more simple stuff if you want to. So with Mac, I just got it because it can handle things so much easier, man. It's so much smoother, and don't get me wrong, like it's once you get Mac and you get the, like, I had Android phone forever, right? And then you get the iPhone and you're like, oh my gosh, the iPhone is great and it does so many things. And then everything is just talks to each other with ease. It's just pretty crazy how it all works in the end. But I'm still trying to familiarize myself with how to get this stuff done, because I know there's a way that you can like pin it to actually just show the left side of screen. Oh, cool. Is that how it works? There's a window button right here. It says tile to the left. What does this do? Let me see if I click it. Tile to left side of screen. Okay, cool. And then I can just click that one. All right, cool. I just learned something there. Bam, I just see Mac has a little function right there. Didn't even know it. But now I can actually, there's a little Windows section up here that you can actually use to, how cool is that? That you can use to actually click all this right here. And so, yeah, that's pretty interesting. How freaking cool. So I can literally click make window full screen, move window to desktop. There was one that allowed me to pin it to the left. So if y'all are on Mac and you want to know how to do that, well, there you go. You can zoom in, zoom out. You can control it. Hey, all right, cool. I just figured this out live on stream with all of y'all. How cool is that? Anyways, I get distracted so freaking quick. All right, yeah, exactly. Hex Freedom, how are you, my friend? Much love. Happy Sunday to all of you beautiful people. Happy April of 2023. Yesterday was a silly day for all the people who just like to play jokes on April Fool's Day, and I've sent out a tweet. If y'all want to retweet out my tweet today, but I sent it out basically asking everyone to remove all of the April Fool's BS, because Twitter doesn't allow you to sort stuff in a most current, most updated system. It pulls stuff from 2 weeks ago, 5 days ago. If you retweet something that was 2 weeks old, it pulls it up again. And so people are still seeing, like, as I was scrolling through Twitter myself, this is where I kind of came out with the thought. I was like, dude, people are still not going to realize it's April Fool's Day because April 1st is now over, and they're going to see stuff saying the Highest of Stakes documentary is on Netflix. That was one of the ones going around yesterday. April Fool's, that was not a thing, right? Another one was Pulse Chain Mainnet, RPC little code was 100%. That was a joke. That was not, like all those things. So I asked everyone to delete them. So I asked y'all to do the same thing. Send out that retweet, right? Let's get some retweets on that as well. Come on in, share the like, share the subscribe, share with other like beings and conscious beings. So you think all that stuff will be available on mainnet, not on V3 at all? Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do it where they're going to slowly release it out on V3, because I think V3 is going to constantly be a thing that's going to be used going forward. It will be the primary test net for Pulse Chain and Pulse X, right? Like all of the things that we're seeing right now will be the primary test net, just like Gorelli or RinkB or any of those things. It'll be the primary test net. So we'll probably still see some stuff roll out, and it'll be a good way to practice stuff if you want to use paper money and not use your real dollars to learn and make the mistakes. So but yeah, at the same time, I would also see it being okay to launch without some of that stuff when mainnet launches, because all of that can get slowly introduced and rolled in. So as much as I would love to see limit orders on day one when mainnet's here, I don't know if that's going to be a thing. As much as I would love to see the buy and burn function come out when mainnet becomes a thing, I don't know. Right? But again, they can slowly roll it out, and then when the time comes and they actually implement the buy and burn function, some brilliant person, I'm sure, will go through and figure out how to write the contract and how to do it if they don't roll it out quickly. And then they'll have other functions like you'll be able to still do other stuff like CalSwap or Matcha or something like that, where it may be another DEX where you have to do your limit orders. It may not be PulseX. So there's still going to be other systems that come out. It's just going to be a slow roll, in my opinion. But who knows? Again, yeah, let me do a little ticker on here. How do I do it right here? Is it F19? Not financial advice. Let me shorten that up just a little bit. There you go. Not financial advice. All right. Do you think being an LP is a security because you pulled your coins in a common pool with the expectation of profit, even with farming? No. I mean, a pool is different than an LP. Like, so when you can provide liquidity right now on Uniswap and on all of the different protocols that are out there, and that doesn't make it a security. Being a pool, I don't exactly know. Like, that would be one of the things that, the Magic Carpet Ride folks, I think, have to realize that that's something, I think, when they're talking about pulling the money in that scenario, is different than putting in your own money with just the expectation that you just, not the expectation. Excuse me. So if you put in, I don't see it being a security. Let me just leave it like that. But LP is different than a pool. So there's tons of stuff to be said. That's why like securities haven't already been a thing on yield farming, and that's why they haven't been a thing on providing liquidity. Because you're putting up your own tokens to provide liquidity for the network to be able to function, for people to transact within the tokens and do the decentralized finance. Whereas a pool is something slightly different. But again, if you're putting up your own tokens, your own pool, and you can pull it whenever, and it's just one of those things that it's all written in the code, and it's not actually something where someone's actually paying out a yield or interest or APR, for example, like they are not actually providing the actual payout. If it's something all written in code, it makes it very hard, in my opinion, for that to be classified as security, which is why Hex works so well, because even through the adoption amplifier and everything like that, everything was all done through code. It all ended at the same time for the adoption amplifier. Big payday happened through code. Everything happened through code. So as long as the code's written and it's good, and it's not a single person who's responsible for doing that kind of stuff, or a single party responsible for doing that kind of stuff, then yeah, I think you should be clear in that scenario. But the SEC is going to play so much catch up, man. They're going to be doing so much catch up. They're so far behind. It's not even funny. Like, we just keep advancing further and further and further, and they keep trying to do the throw the net out to see what they can catch. I like the term divergent loss over impermanent loss. Really misleading. Those rug coins will never come back from next to zero. Yeah, some coins, when you provide liquidity for them, and you're in a shiny coin, and the contract creators rug the coin and pull all the liquidity out, then you're left with the coin that's worth nothing. In this case, the useless coin. So be careful and know that, that's just part of the game that you're playing. Paralyzed. Yeah, that's probably the thought I was talking about. Analysis by paralysis. Paralysis by analysis. There you go. That's the word I was talking about. My goodness. Thank you, folks. Too funny. I got caught up with that analysis with paralysis by analysis myself, just trying to come up with the word. Lol. Oh, much love, Cookie. Much love, Clifton. X-Force 1. Appreciate all the help on that. I probably just should have read chat sooner rather than trying to figure it out. Sometimes you got to go to the chat and make it happen. ATX, you remind me of Steve Urkel in Family Matters after he turns into Stephen Urkel. LOL, the cool, handsome one. Look it up. Oh, I know. I know all about Steve Urkel and Stephen Urkel and all that good stuff. But yeah, Stephen Urkel, he takes off his glasses. He becomes this really cool looking dude. You know, I don't have that. I could take off my glasses. It just helps me. But yeah, did I do that? I'd rather be the Steve Urkel. I'd rather be the Steve Urkel nerd. So I appreciate that. How I made a Wild SJ appears. Hey, what's up, a Wild SJ? Brain fog. There you go, Gloria. That's one of the terms to use as well. Brain fog. That's what I was dealing with. Yes, constantly learning. Facts on facts. That is what we are doing here. It is the ability to constantly learn. If you think you know it all, folks, then my goodness, like, go humble yourself some. You know what I mean? Like, I love when Richard Hart does this stuff to people too, because they think they know everything, and then he hits them with almost like an easy question, but they break it down in such an easy way. For example, like, do you know how Bitcoin is made, or do you know where money from? Do you know where Bitcoin actually comes from, right? And then like people are like, what, and they just get like stumped instantly, right? Absolutely love that kind of stuff. What's the difference between pooling and farming? What a great question. I was not a fan of April Fool's jokes. Yeah, I know what you were saying, Yoden. Yeah, dude. Yeah, all the April Fool's jokes had everyone. There were people saying, like, oh my gosh, guys, we're pregnant with twins, or we're pregnant, like, hey, you put that out there in the universe, man. The universe is gonna come back and listen. Like, be careful what you say in that scenario, because I could easily see some folks who like to joke around and say some stuff like that where it comes back and truly bites them in the arse. You know what I mean? So that's pretty funny whenever I get a good laugh at it, if you ask me, for sure. So let's see real quick. Has anyone gone to see any new movies lately? My wife and I typically we used to go on date nights every Friday. We would go watch a new movie every Friday. It was just something that we happened. C19 came around. We stopped doing that, and we have a home theater in the house, and so we started doing that for a little bit of time. And always fun in that scenario too. But again, like the theater experience, it's that really, like, you get out of the house, you go and have some where we eat at. You can go to a movie theater where they actually bring you like food, not just popcorn, and you have to leave in the middle of the thing to go get an extra soda or something like that. The movie theaters that we go to, they actually bring the food to you, and they bring drinks, and you can ride down and you can enjoy the movie the whole time. Really fun stuff. So we started doing that again, and we've been doing that, I mean, really over about, a year again, really once they started reopening. So we've seen a lot of the movies lately, so let me know if y'all have any new movies that are out there that, definitely we need to go see. The one we're most likely going to go see in the coming weekend, whenever it comes out, is Tetris. We're looking forward to that one because, yeah, that one looks like a good movie. You know what I mean? The most recent one that we saw was John Wick 4. And that was an epic movie. For anyone who hasn't seen that, I highly advise going to check that movie out. Yeah, always enjoy all the John Wick movies in general. And then my buddy watched 65 and said, don't go watch it. It's the one where they basically travel and they're 65 million years ago, that kind of deal. And there's dinosaurs walking around and aliens and all the good stuff. So, but yeah, they said, don't go watch it. So we were going to go watch it, and we decided not to. We listened to them. But yeah, let me know if y'all have any thoughts on that too. And then give me a sec real fast. Let me just see what's going on here. Make sure everything's all good. We got some friends over once again. My wife calls them puppy play dates, where she's a dog trainer, of course, so she'll invite either friends or clients or stuff like that over who become friends in time. And we'll have puppy play dates over here at the house with the backyard where it's all open. They can fetch and all that good stuff. So always a good thing here. But let's see what's going on with chat. Oh, someone asked a question. I want to go back to that question real quick. So Yoden asked, what's the difference between pooling and farming? And so The easy way to understand is like yield farming is just earning rewards by depositing your liquidity tokens, right? Like, yes, it's pooled in a fund for liquidity, but at the same time, it's not quite pooled because it's a smart contract that you're providing it for. You're lending the tokens, which provide you a yield or an interest in return. It's typically done by, AMM bots and that kind of stuff, whereas like pooling funds together makes it to where you can almost try to either get more than you would normally be able to get. For example, I don't want to say it because I don't know if it would get them in trouble, but like the Maximus protocol, whenever they did all that pool, they basically got everyone to pull all this hex together where they got to get a bigger pays better, longer pays better bonus, and then they staked it out for X amount of time, and everyone who participated in that or participates in it even now can earn more reward than they would have gotten had they just done it together. So it's, one of those simple things, but collectively you're able to purchase more shares, you're able to purchase more tokens than you can as an individual investor. But I think that's different than what, again, that's pooling. That's why I think pooling could get in trouble with, say, SEC, for example, whereas yield farming, it's typically done by smart contracts. It's typically done by AMM bots. You can do a whole bunch of stuff. You provide liquidity. You farm that yield by providing liquidity. So a little bit of a difference there, Yoden. I remember years ago, Reddit made an April Fool's about Vitalik dying in a car wreck. Wrecked eats price a day that day. I wasn't around for that. Too funny, Jake. If I was, should I say I was around, but I wasn't actually heavily invested as I am now. Whereas nowadays I'm much more widely invested in that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's too funny that it's so fast how someone can do that, and I'm sure everyone's like, no, I didn't mean for it to do that. It was just supposed to be a funny joke. And yeah, I don't think April Fool's jokes are funny at all. I think they're just a silly waste of everyone's time. Hexforce1 says retweeted. Much love, my friend. Pump or dump on day one, Pulse X. Again, let me pull up the little banner here. Not financial advice, but in regards to what I see happening on day one for Pulse X, I think a lot of people are going to try to move to capture Pulse. We've seen it happen with the testnet. We saw it happen with the testnet. Ratios got way out of whack. There isn't going to be any sort of bridging capability on day one, at least to our knowledge. So I could see it going down. But again, it depends. So let me start with the sacrifice price, because I think everything is going to start above the sacrifice price, okay? So if you sacrificed for Pulse Chain or Pulse X, you were given essentially 10,000 points for every $1, which would make the price 0.0001 or 3 zeros and a 1. So 1/100th of a penny. We can just say it like that, whichever way sounds good to you. So in that regard, I would see the price starting out 5x to 8x higher than sacrifice price. And do I see it dropping? Yup. I see a lot of people moving over that Pulse X into Pulse Chain. I think a lot of people are going to be trying to chase that one. There was about 3 times the amount of people who got into Pulse X than Pulse Chain. There's a lot of people who just want to do everything they can to get Pulse Chain in the first place, because typically layer ones do better in terms of performance on average than a decentralized exchange. Now it's tough because DEXs have only been around for 3 years, right? They've only existed since 2020. So it's tough to say exactly how it can perform, but in regards to what layer ones have done, they've typically outperformed. So people are looking for the faster automobile, and it's the rabbit and the hare philosophy. It's the rabbit and the turtle philosophy, the hare and the turtle philosophy, right? So I think Pulse Chain in the beginning is going to rocket, right? Like you're going to see it go anywhere between 2x to 50x, like fast. It's going to happen insanely fast. I see Pulse X still going and doing, say, in a 2x to 5x during that same time. But from sacrifice price, I could see it starting out at, say, 0.0005 or, again, 0.05 of a penny. And I could see it dropping down to even just be a 2x above sac price, which would be 0.0002. Again, yes, that's a dip, but from sacrifice price, you're still up. So it just depends on where you actually got it at. But yeah, I do see that there's going to be some dip on day one for Pulse X. For some people, that's just going to be a phenomenal buying opportunity to get into Pulse X, right? And so, like, just make sure that you're, I would always say go with the dollar cost average strategy over the first 30 to 90, 180 days during the launch of the two chains. And you're going to probably do pretty darn good. Just my guess. Is Tetris playing in cinema? I thought it was only on Apple TV Plus. What? Interesting. Now I gotta look. It could actually be. I've just been seeing all the ads, so I've been getting excited about it. Let me see if it is going to be playing in my local theater here real fast. Give me 1 second. Fantastic question once again. What movies do we got showing? Creed 3. We got Dungeons and Dragons. There you go. John Wick 4. Shazam. I heard about Shazam as well. Quantum Mania. Everything, everywhere, all at once. There you go. Cocaine Bear. All right, cool. So what do we have for future showtimes? Future movies coming soon. We have Air. That looks like to be a good movie. I'm excited to actually watch that. That looked pretty cool. Talking about the Nike Air, the Jordan, the Jordan Air coming from the man, the myth, the legend. How he was given the shoe deal at such a young age when he was still in his rookie season, and how they basically made the Air into like the iconic thing that it is now. What else do we have? We have Super Mario Bros. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. There you go. Man, they're coming out with another Fast and Furious movie. It's called Fast X. Oh, shoot. Some of these movies we watch here at the house whenever it comes available to watch them here at the house. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of time. We may not go see some of these in theater, but yeah, I guess you were right. I don't see it happening on in local theater. So maybe it is only on Apple TV. Interesting. All right. So what else we got? Let me see here. Yeah, so great question, Hex Squid. I didn't even realize that. That is I mean, shoot, we'll be watching it then either way. It looks like a phenomenal movie. How would an unbanked individual on-ramp to crypto? How does DeFi really help the unbanked and redlined populations? So, I mean, an unbanked individual can on-ramp into crypto multiple different ways. It's just a matter of like how you have your money. Typically, if you're in an area for, like you said, like where you have the red line population and that kind of stuff, they actually have pretty good ways to on-ramp into crypto. Look at Randy Olarski, just for example, in Panama, where, they may not have the craziest bank structure, but he can literally go down the street, hand them some money and say, turn this into some crypto, or take this crypto and turn it into cash, and they can do everything, and then he has to come back an hour later, and then he gets the funds. I was always a fan of, oh my goodness, drawing a blank on it now. Let me see, pull it up. Crypto. Let me see if I can go back and remember the name. What was it? Change Now. There you go. ChangeNow.io. And again, I don't know if you have to have a bank account for it. I think you can do it by card as long as you have some form of like card. You have to have some form of getting money to be able to convert it. I don't know how that form of money is that you have, but you can always do simple stuff like that. But for example, you can go to a website called ChangeNow.io, Changely. All of these websites are there and available. And so ChangeNow.io is the thing that actually allows you to convert all these different currencies, right? Any of these different currencies, whatever you have the currency in, and you can actually convert it typically into either the actual token itself. So say Hex, for example, and you don't even have to go through the process of getting Ethereum, having to go through the process of learning what a decentralized exchange is. Like you don't have to go through the process of learning how to use Uniswap. But again, you're not going to get as much. You're not going to get as many. You're not going to get as much bang for your buck, basically, when you go through and do this, because they have a fee. They have a fee that they charge to get it done. And so I can go through here and say like I have $1,500. I think they only allow 5,000 if I'm not mistaken for change now. Maybe it's like 5,500 or something like that. But they have limits on what you can do for that card, and then you can come in here and just say buy, for example. Changely is another one that you can do. There's plenty of on ramps for crypto though, right? And so it's just a matter of like how you're gonna do it. 0x is gonna come out with 0x Coast is coming out with their own on ramp protocol as well. On ramp protocol. Let me see if I can find them real quick. Yeah, 0x Coast is gonna have a pulse chain fiat on ramp right here. So whenever that goes live, this is going to be a pretty cool thing that they're going to be allowed or given the ability for people to on ramp and off ramp using stable coins for Pulse Chain. That's going to have transparency, liquidity, redemption, adoption, ubiquity, all these things, right? And so, yeah, very interesting. Crypto is too complex for the vast majority of first-time users. The Coast DApp or decentralized application is built for onboards with a simple interface and deliberately limited feature set. So yeah, I mean, he has other projects that he's already made, the Wait token where you can go through and claim power in the Pulse community. So yeah, there's going to be communities that are out there. There's going to be on-ramps that are out there. You just got to figure out what makes more sense to you. Again, I don't know about the unbanked. I'm banked myself. I don't understand the unbanked world. But for some people, they can make it work. And for other people, it's a bit of a pain. So I would be cautious. But how DeFi really helps the unbanked and redline populations, a lot of the times they actually get a lot more dollar value when they convert and they actually like in crypto, and it does really well because a lot of the times when you're in these unbanked civilizations, the dollar has a really good value. So like, I don't know about Thailand or Taiwan, for example, but Thailand, you know, you may have some difficulties with banking there, for example, but your dollar can carry you for so freaking long. You can go with like $100 and go basically pay your food for an entire week, pay where you stay for an entire week, and that pays for like a hotel and that kind of stuff. Pays for your drinks, that kind of like all that good stuff for a very low dollar value. And so crypto can change quite a bit because imagine, even though we only see maybe a 2x in price and it may not do anything for a lot of us, that 2x in price for some of them can absolutely change their life, right? Because they may only be making $1,000 a month. And if you give them the ability to go make $5,000 a month through passive income, well, they're living like kings, right? You know what I mean? It's just a matter of do they end up screwing themselves over and spending all their money. 30 likes for my guy. Man, come on, guys. We can do better. Let's push them up. Hey, appreciate the love, Wickate. Hex Glenn, what's up, what's up, what's up? Do you know if and when snapshots are taken? Yeah, it's not like a... I mean... When mainnet goes live, it happens at that time. If you're referring to Pulse Chain mainnet. If you're referring to any of the other stuff that's happening... Snapshots can happen at any point in time for a protocol. For example, if someone was to try and give out an airdrop for someone who was staked during a certain period of time, or someone who held a certain token during a certain period of time, you would want to do a snapshot at that point in time for them. Now, that's their business of when they decide to do that. And for those individuals, they get a snapshot. They can see, hey, you had XYZ token at that time. You were able to claim this token by having that done because they took a snapshot of what happened during that time. So anyone trying to game the system afterwards won't be able to get that done. However, the Pulse Chain snapshot is in fact gonna be the same thing. The snapshot and the fork are identical. Like when Pulse Chain mainnet goes live, it's like whatever you have at that time, and then it's all separated from there. It won't be like, hey, we're gonna do a snapshot this day and then actually launch this day. Like that's just not how it works. It's going to be snapshot fork same time, and then it's live. And then whatever you had on Ethereum is going to be copied over to Pulse Chain, and then an entire new ecosystem is going to start building around Pulse Chain, and all the tokens are going to gain value and lose value, and some are going to gain adoption and some are going to lose adoption. All these things because it becomes its entire own ecosystem, and this token over here for Ethereum will continue to maintain doing what it does. So again, it's not a if or when, but when Pulse Chain, when mainnet goes live, that snapshot fork happened. But yeah, for other protocols, they take snapshots all the time. Snapshots are very common in crypto, right? They happen very often for the exact purpose we just talked about, for airdrops in particular. Like, you don't want someone to be able to game the system because you say you're doing an airdrop to something, and then everyone goes and rushes and buys that token, and then you have to give up even more tokens because you didn't do a snapshot. You know what I mean? So snapshots are very useful and done for a purpose during that time. Fast X, yes, absolutely, yeah. That's what it sounds like, right? Fast X. Yeah, Fast 10. I guess it's a Fast and Furious 10. Fast X. I'm gonna go probably watch, like, I don't even think my wife and I were able to finish the last Fast and Furious movie. Like, I think we actually turned it off and never watched the end. It reached a certain point in time where just like, this is just silly at this point. Like, they're over here jumping out of like rockets and spaceships and moving from rocket to rocket. It's like, all right, cool, man. Lots of stuff. Lots of stuff blowing up. If you appreciate some of that stuff, cool. But it became almost, to a point in time where it's just comical. And when we're just laughing through the whole movie, and it's not necessarily supposed to be that way. It's just funny. Excuse me, let me clear my throat. If we stake our Pulse X, do we get more Pulse X, or do we earn another coin? Well, I showed you this earlier, and the way the single-sided staking works is it gets voted in, basically, right? And so these protocols are going to get voted in through the DAO, right? And so, like, whoops, not that one. I didn't mean to put that one there. So when you come in over here, you're going to see this kind of little voting metric right here, and you can make proposals. You can do community. You can do core proposals, that kind of stuff for PulseX pulls. You can see all these pulls that are happening. They're going to be able to get voted in, that kind of stuff, right? And so it takes a certain amount of people to go in and vote and basically authorize it to happen. But once it actually launches, and a pull does launch at that point in time, then you're going to see stuff right here, for example, where you're going to be able to essentially stake your PLSX, but you will in fact earn another token. It will not be PLSX. That will be a completely different token, completely separate from the PulseX ecosystem, the Richard Heart ecosystem. It'll be whatever reward incentive token that the new people are providing. So assuming, say, Mintra comes out, and Mintra wants to go through and gain some ability for learning about popularity and that kind of stuff, you're going to be able to stake your PLSX, and you're most likely going to be able to earn some Mintra tokens or Mint tokens or whatever the token is going to be called. And that's the reward token that they're going to give you by staking your PLSX with them, and then you'll actually earn a certain amount of APR based on how much PLSX you stake and all of that good stuff too. But you will not earn PLSX token, at least not for the single-sided liquidity pool. But the benefit here is you also don't run the risk of impermanent loss, and you aren't giving up your tokens to someone else. So a lot of the times when you do some sort of staking protocol, single-sided staking like Ethereum's going through right now, where they stake their Ethereum and now they have to wait until the Shanghai update gets released for them to pull their stakes. Well, at this point in time, they're going to be able to stake, earn some rewards, and then pull it whenever you decide. You don't have to keep it locked up for X amount of time. You don't have to do any of that, right? And so that's just one of the benefits of it. But yeah, you won't be able to, unfortunately, Ace the Alien, yeah, you will not be earning PLSX, but you also won't be susceptible to impermanent loss either, because it's just a single-sided, right? You're just putting up your PLSX. The coin can go and do a 5x, 10x, 20x, 100x. You can then pull that staking out, and then you'll have your rewards for whatever the protocol provided, and then you'll actually have the PLSX still as well. You never have to actually give your tokens away. You never have to rely on someone else to give you a yield back. Any of that done. All that's done through a automated market system. Thanks for the info, brother. I got people in the hood. I'd like to on-ramp onto the network. Of course, of course. Yeah, again, like, in regards to, like, the actual true on-ramp, they still have to have some money somehow, some way for them to actually convert that. And again, like whether or not they hold that money in their own account, whether or not they open up a trust, that you could use something like TrueUSD, like we talked about, the trust token. On yesterday's stream, we talked about it, but with trust token, you actually get the ability to, you still have to KYC and a whole bunch of stuff. So if they can't KYC, it makes it very difficult to do some of these things. But you can use websites like Changely or ChangeNow.io. So as long as you have a card, for example, you can actually swipe that card. You choose the wallet you want it to go to. You enter the address, and it actually allows you to swap your USD into the token that you want, get the token that you want, and it's already inside your wallet. You don't have to mess with any sort of on-ramp. You don't have to mess with any sort of decentralized exchange. You don't have to mess with any of that, right? There's actually, I believe, the ramp networks as well, right? If I'm not mistaken, you can use, if you just use metamask.io, you should be able to actually use the Transact or the ramp network. Both of them are pretty easy there. Let me see. Let me go here. Pulse Chain, Ethereum, buy. Yeah, you can either do Coinbase, which is, again, KYC stuff. You can use the Transact network. You can use MoonPay. There's many different websites that are decentralized, but they, again, like they all have their own flaws, if you will. Basically, you typically don't get as much as you would normally get if you had just used like a decentralized exchange, for example. But typically that also involves centralized exchanges and a whole bunch of more pain in the ass type stuff. So Clifton, good luck getting the people in the hood on that. For sure, for sure. John Neese, I'm sure you've spoken about this plenty, but would you please explain what Pulse coins you hold and what your strategies will be once mainnet launches? Thank you kindly. AC Alien, it sounds like we will be earning a new incentive token and not PLSX. I'm in the same boat. Yeah, you won't be earning PLSX for that token. Yeah, I mean, in regards to, like, easiest thing to do, just to break it down, is do nothing, folks. Like, I know we've said this before. It's going to be the easiest thing to do and the hardest thing to do at the same time, okay? When Pulse Chain launches, I'm going to take a good portion of that and move it into a whole separate wallet in and of itself. I'm also, again, the reason why I do that is because in the off chance that I do something stupid and connect my wallet to another decentralized application that is compromised, and I give it the ability to spend all my money because I'm trying to do stuff quickly, or whatever, if I just end up getting screwed on a compromised wallet, I don't want to end up having to start over fresh again. So I'm going to move a good portion of it into a brand new wallet that's never been touched, that I have everything set up for, that's done. You can set up hardware wallets, all that good stuff. Make sure you have the passphrase. Make sure everything's all good there, right? And then what you can do is transact and use other stuff. So say you still have the, say you want to start providing liquidity. Say you want to start doing yield farming. I am planning on providing liquidity, and I am planning on providing and doing yield farming myself. But again, I'm not using my entire position. It will be a small portion of my position that I'm going to use to do these things. So I do plan on earning passive income from, because so single-sided staking is not going to be a thing that's going to be available at launch right away. Neither is liquid loans, neither is Power City, neither are the things that we're talking about where people are talking about doing all this stuff. That's going to come probably a month or two out after Pulse Chain Mainnet. So in the interim, while there is still a bridge, I do plan on earning some passive income by providing liquidity, by yield farming. I understand what impermanent loss is, and I am okay with holding these two tokens. So I don't really plan on doing yield farming and providing liquidity for a whole bunch of different protocols. I don't really care for other protocols in the ecosystem, for example, like liquid loans, as much as I love them and what they're doing. To provide liquidity for them means that I have a more likelihood chance that I'm going to end up with that token than I would with the Pulse Chain token. And I don't want to end up in that situation. I'd much rather have my Pulse and PulseX paired together in the liquidity pool, so that way if I ever do decide to withdraw that, I will wait until the ratios are good, where impermanent loss is not a big thing. I've showed you earlier on the stream, but there is such a thing as an impermanent loss calculator. And this is built by someone in the community, by Poseidon. But there's a thing in the permanent loss calculator, so you can do 10,000 here, and assuming these tokens end up here and what the tokens end up going to, all of these things end up showing that there's a point in time where your impermanent loss is basically next to nothing. This is a good thing. You want the impermanent loss to be next to nothing, right? Right here at the end, you can see LP value at the end if you had just held, LP value if you actually provided liquidity. In this situation, that little range right here, 44,000 versus 45,000, this is a good range, because what happens while you're providing liquidity this entire time? You're earning fees, right? And so like you don't have to pull liquidity all the time. It's a wide range, wide band liquidity pool that you're in with V2. Now, when V3 comes around, now V3 is available right now for licensing. It's the license is actually free and open, and anyone can now use it. So I'm really hoping that they provide V3 inside Pulse X, because then you can really get narrowed down in where you want to provide liquidity, and then you can really play a game where you can actually get great prices, good entry levels, you can exit, you can enter. There's a whole lot of other things that can happen when you actually have that variable range that you end up getting. But yes, I do plan on providing liquidity. Yes, I do plan on yield farming. Yes, I do plan on doing all that. But keep in mind, again, let me pull this up real fast, right? Like, as always, not financial advice, but as always, folks, let me just say it comes with risk. Like, I mean, shoot, do not do a full stack if you aren't familiar with yield farming. If you are not familiar with liquidity providing, don't think you're gonna do all this right away. Start small. Like I say this time and time again, if you've never done this stuff before, start small. Keep it simple. Like, you don't have to go ham. Like, say you have 10,000, for example, and that's the number that you want to use. Maybe you start off with providing liquidity with $100, $50 on one side, $50 on the other side. Learn how it works. See how impermanent loss makes sense. See if you will hold it during that entire time. Watch yourself earn some fees. It's really cool. But you start off very small. You do not do it very large at all. Like, yes, you may miss out on some initial reward right away. But guys, long-term thinking, you're earning passive income that's going to pay you in the future. I'm going to take some of the profits that I'm going to move from my Pulse Chain, Pulse X, Hex, all of these things, and I'm going to move them within whichever one is dipping. So say, for example, Pulse Chain goes and does 100x within the first 6 months, and Hex is still down here around 10 cents or something like that. Like, you best believe I'm going to try to scoop up a big bag of Hex. I'm going to take some profits of Pulse Chain. I'm going to move them over to Hex. I'm going to buy a big bag of Hex there. And then what you can do with that Hex is you can stake it and start earning even more passive income by having these short-term stakes, right? Like the wallet is that we're doing right now that we just looked at, or that is talked about. They just bought $1,000 Ethereum worth of Hex, millions of Hex. Really, really cool. And then they staked it for 33 days. They staked 22 million Hex for 33 days. They're going to be earning roughly about $14,000 a month in just yield alone. That's not even including everything else. That's assuming the same price of 8 cents stays at 8 cents. That's not including the price going up, all that good stuff. So that's $14,000 a month. Like, a lot of folks don't have to work anymore making $14,000 a month. And that's just on 22 million Hex. If the price dips when Pulse Chain launches and it reaches a point of 3 cents, I mean, how much dollar value is that? 22 123 times 0.03. I mean, it's still quite a bit of dollars. $660,000 right there to get you 22 million Hex. That's quite a bit, even at 3 cents. But you have to understand, if you come in with $10,000 and it goes and does 100x, you can take some profit and possibly do exactly. There's so many plans that are going to be available, but I am taking profits. I'm moving over a bag over into a brand new wallet that I can plan on never touching. I'm moving a bag into a brand new wallet that I plan on doing liquidity providing and yield farming on. I'm moving profits from the one that's going to be dropping and doing worse. So if Pulse Chain goes and rises up, I'm going to take some profits and move it maybe into Pulse X or maybe into Hex, whichever one looks prettier at that time, whether it be on Hex on Ethereum or Hex on Pulse Chain. They're going to both look pretty darn good, but it's a 4-pillar ecosystem that we just get to go do, and you can move and transact in between. Because then then Pulse Chain is going to come down maybe 50%. And then Pulse X goes and rises another 50x. Like all these things. Then you're like, hey, I got this here. I can move over some profits and buy some more. Like all these things are going to be a thing. It's going to be beautiful of the world that we're going to be living in here in the very near future. Oh my God. No. 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 I watched that in the military with my buddies, man, because like you just bored as F when you're in the military, especially in Iraq. And my God, dude. Terrible movie. Terrible. What's up, Drix? How you doing, my friend? Hex had a bit of a rolling snapshot of BTC held on an address and posted it in an ETH transaction. I love the way you explain stuff. Appreciate it. Stay frosty. Thank you, my friend. In minority communities, the banks are limiting access to crypto overall, and there are people that need this life-changing opportunity. That's my soapbox rant. Clifton, you're good, man. We're here to talk to each other, fam. Like it's a Sunday. We're just here. We're having fun. We're hanging out. Drix is even saying 100. You know what I mean? So all this stuff right here. But yeah, I mean, granted, like you have to understand that also it makes it a pain in the butt too. But if banks are going to be a bit of a pain to get with, then I would definitely, if they're okay with doing KYC and stuff, I would personally, point them in the direction of Trust Token, at least for now. Because it essentially is a either centralized exchange or a decentralized exchange. They have them both. They have things in many different transactions for USD, Australian dollar, Hong Kong dollar, like all these things. They have a DAO pool. They have so many things that are going through, and you can borrow. Again, I don't ever recommend like borrowing and that kind of stuff. Be careful with it because then you end up getting a little bit crazy. But I'm a fan of Trust Token. So it's trusttoken.com if you want to go learn more about what they offer. But yeah, now's the time to start learning that kind of stuff, right? Like there are plenty of banks that allow you to do online banking. I mean, heck, even SoFi, I think, allows you to do online banking. And so it just depends. Like, as long as they're okay with doing, like, KYC and stuff, and they're okay with showing who they are, yeah, they have plenty of options available. They don't have to go to one of the local community banks where they limit everything that you can possibly do, right? You don't have to go to a credit union where you have to limit everything that you can possibly do. Amazon, MJ Money. Did it on Amazon, my friend. Got this one on Amazon, and yeah, it's pretty much where I get everything from. Academaciated says, there is much missing in certain minority communities, particularly black neighborhoods. Good luck finding a grocery store and a dollar store, and a dollar store doesn't qualify. There you go. The real racket they use these days is the crypto ATM on-ramp. It's just Sorry, my wife was talking, just trying to make sure. Exploitative, and I'd like to show people better ways, for sure. Stay frosty. Love you, my friend. Would you rather sell PLSX on day one or just hodl? Well, I mean, luckily you can't sell. I mean, like that's the one benefit of not having this ramp, this bridge capability day one, day 10, whatever, whenever Pulse Chain launches. The real benefit is that you actually don't get the ability to end up screwed. You know what I mean? Because like you don't have the option. Are you talking about like selling to a different token? Are you talking about doing ratio trading? But like day one, you're not going to be able to just sell. Have a profit taking strategy in place, folks. Like I have a profit taking strategy in place for myself, right? And it's as simple as, I'll say it right now, but if you see the launch happen and a bridge comes in and you're 10x the sacrifice price, then you probably should take out like 10% profit. Again, let me say it once again, as always, not financial advice, right? But I would take out 10% because then you get your money back. Then you get not only your money back, you actually get to still have plenty of money in the ecosystem. There's still massive gains to be had, but if you're starting off with, say, $100 and you see a 10x and it goes up to $1,000, well, I'm probably not going to be taking out 10% profit because, yeah, you could get your $100 back. That's cool, but that's not enough to really change what you're doing. Now, if you started out with 10,000 or 100,000 and you get a 10x profit and you see it go from 10,000 to 100,000 or 100,000 to $1,000,000, and you could take out 10% profit, you can see you can actually really get a lot of benefits from that as well, right? And so it depends on where you're at. Again, that's why, you know, we can't provide financial advice here. I'm not a personal financial advisor. I have no idea your situation. Do you have a lot of debt? Does the people have a lot of debt? You know, I would recommend taking some profit and paying down some debt. Like, debt, I think, is probably one of the silliest things to have. And it's a world that we live in where you almost have to have some debt. Like, I knew some people whenever I was in the finance world, and I would be doing applications to try to help them out. And they've been paying cash their whole life. 80 years old, 70 years old, pay cash for everything their entire life, haven't needed to use any sort of credit cards or anything like that. But then they go to get a loan for whatever reason that may be, and they can't because they look like a ghost in the system. So you still have to play the system correctly, man. And like, make sure your credit's good, make sure all that's good, to make sure you can truly benefit from all angles. It's not just like if you want to go get properties and stuff like that, like, cool, you can go put down money on everything. That's cool. But it's a lot easier if you can just put down, say, 10% of the money that you want and then build a house, go sell it, make some profit, do whatever in that regard. So many different things happening right there. Here, hold up.
Come on, Jamie. I'm going to bring Delta down, okay? And leave the door open, and then I've got to run them late for my appointment.
Okay. All right. So I hope that makes some sense, but yeah, dude, you know, I have a profit taking strategy plan in place that I plan on using, that I know that I'm not going to plan on using. I will be using, right? It's something that I've already figured out in my head. I've already written down the numbers. I've gone through the ups and downs. I've looked at 1% to 5% to 20%. I've looked at all the numbers and I've played it all out. And everything in my head basically says 5 to 10% is a good profit taking percentage, depending upon what you actually have all in all. Hi, Journey. So yes, I will not be selling on day one just because you can't. But at the same time, when the bridge comes into play and you can see a true dollar value, I'm waiting until a dollar value is associated. I'm not doing any sort of ratio trading. I'm not messing with that. I don't care to mess with that. I don't want to mess with ratio trading. I think that's the easiest way to get wrecked. You'll have to make up months and months and months to make up a simple mistake that you decide to do because of impatience. So I would wait until you see a dollar value associated with the tokens. And then when you see dollar value associated with them, then you can say, okay, cool. Here's what I can do now with that kind of money, right? Here's how much yield I can make by doing this. Here's how much liquidity I can provide by doing this. And I'm planning on doing all of that, right? I have a bag that I have planned for to make some passive income. It's a phenomenal thing that we're all going to be living in, and I can't wait for it to be available to start showing how to make some passive income for all of y'all as well. Because there's definitely ways to make passive income right now, like by using the curve or the balancer or all these other passive income yield farming examples right now. But again, I don't like necessarily using that, okay? So it just depends on kind of what you're seeing. Okay. Love you. But yeah, I hope that makes sense for what I will be doing. Stay frosty. Take some profits. Have a good profit-taking plan in place. Make sure that you are ready and understand what you're doing. Like, keep in mind that's like so... Gosh, it seems so easy and yet so difficult at the same time, right? Because it just is that crazy and is that real scenario where things could truly be happening right now. But yeah, I do have all of that. Yeah, there's the MakerDAO, there's Lido, there's Curve. Yeah, there's plenty of things that you can do for yield farming right now. I just don't like any of the protocols that are out there, and I can't wait till PulseX is here. Big fan of PulseX, obviously. Chris Side Effects, what is up, my friend? Go check out Side Effects on Twitter. He has phenomenal merch. Wind Moon. Soon, my friend. What's your definition of moon, Frosty? Some people are only looking for a 2x. Some people are looking for a 10x. Some people are looking for a 1000x, right? Like, what's your definition of moon? Will you be keeping your original sacrifice wallet at all? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, what do you mean by keeping my originals? Like, I'll still have the access to the wallet itself. So if any of the protocols ever drop for airdrops, then I can take advantage of those airdrops. But something I plan on doing was I sacrificed from a wallet that did not have any hex stakes in. And so when it comes live, it's basically already a brand new wallet. But instead of just keeping it that way, I'm going to create a brand new wallet again, right? And the reason why is that brand new wallet, I'm going to move all the tokens into the brand new wallet. So that way when airdrops come around, if I ever want to participate in them, I don't have to worry about compromising myself, right? But that's planning ahead. And if you weren't able to plan ahead, and if you have your hex stakes and you sacrifice from the same wallet that you had your hex stakes in, then it makes it pretty difficult to claim an airdrop at that point in time. Because you leave yourself susceptible at that point, and you could almost jeopardize all of your hex stakes. So that's why people talk about picking up pennies in front of a freight train, and it's typically advised not to do that. Yeah, so I will keep some to answer the question. I mean, I guess whatever is there, but yeah, I do plan on moving all the actual tokens into different wallets. Moon for me is like 1000x. I got like 9K in SAC and plan on 3 to 4K additional when launch. So that's some good money. And I don't know if you've seen this particular thing before. Let me go through here. Oh, I closed it down. Let me go through here. Is it this one? No, it's not that one. All right, and so like here's just a basic example. Now again, these are just what things have done in the past, right? And I've shown this before, but these are what things have done in the past. And so if you had sacrificed for Pulse Chain, for example, or if you had got in on any of these other coins that are here, you can see these are basically what the average is that they've all done. So you had Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, Avalanche, Polkadot, Binance, and you see all these and the gains that they've made. And so I basically just made a whole spreadsheet that used their gains. So 15,500 X's was 15,500 X's, right? And then this would essentially say the price of sacrifice, which is 0.0001 or 1/100th of a penny, whichever way you need to say it. And then that would give you 10 million with $1,000 sacrificed. If you did 10,000, it would give you 100 million tokens without any bonuses or anything like that. So just looking at some of these things, like, yeah, I mean, even if you just do 189x, my friend, you're still looking at $2 million with a $10,000 initial investment. And then assuming you're talking about doing like 14,000, you know, you could see something like 2.6 million on the low side comparatively between all of these. On the high side, 217 million, right? And so money is going to be pretty freaking crazy, folks. But yeah, I just want to show that because I think it doesn't really get, talked about often. But yeah, I mean, Moon is, you do a 200x on whatever price you actually have, and that's good money. That's Moon for a lot of folks, friends. You turn $10,000 into $2 million. That's Moon for a lot of people. Like, a lot of people have never seen $1 million. And whenever they see $1 million, if you don't have a good profit taking strategy or if you don't have a good plan in place, you're going to see it go from $1 million. And if you're just planning on riding the wave and riding the roller coaster, know that this sucker is going to go to $1 million. It's going to go to 2 million. It's going to come back down to $1 million. It's going to go back down to 500,000. It's going to go down to 200,000. And then you're going to be like, man, I messed up. And then hopefully you don't wreck yourself and sell at 200,000, because that's like ultimate wreckage right there whenever you do something like that, because then you don't have any chance of making up that difference again. Because eventually if you missed out selling on the top up here and you didn't take any profits along the way, then you better just hold on for the long haul, right? But I hope you have some sort of plan in place, because yeah, 1000x with the $10,000 sacrifice, you're looking at a 11 million, $10 million wallet right there with the $10,000 amount. And that's assuming you don't sell any, but hopefully you got a good profit taking strategy in place. You can see this on average took, by the way, this on average took 3.8 years. Pulse X has only ended up doing a similar thing, but it took, not Pulse X, all the tokens who are decentralized exchanges have done a 519x within a year. So I'm just saying, like, if you have this ability and you look at Cake, which is, on Binance, and they did a 200x, I mean, that was less than a year, if I'm not mistaken. Cake was 173 days for 200x your money. So if you got $10,000, you did a 200x and you're looking at 2 mil within the span of 6 months. Again, let me say this as always, not financial advice. So yeah, I mean, that's moon for a lot of folks, friends. That's moon for a lot of people. So I would definitely see all that being very possible, very likely. And that's just with 10,000. Like, the numbers start getting pretty crazy when you start looking at like other stuff like 100,000. Because guys, what you're gonna do is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of the profits from things that have gone up, 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 and I'm gonna say this one hasn't gone up, 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 up. Maybe it's only done a 10x, and I'm gonna scoop up that. Like Hex, for example. Like, say during this time, this one goes and does a 500x. I'm taking out some money and I'm moving it into Hex because it allows me to buy a big bag of Hex at that point in time. And I still believe in Hex on both chains. So have a strategy in place. Have something that you can use that can make sense. Of course. Much earned, much appreciated as well, side effects. You're doing some good work, my friend. You're doing some good work, my friend. Keep it up, for sure. Cool. Stay Frosty says, do you do one-on-one course? I'm not new to crypto, but could use your coach like yourself? Could use a coach like yourself? Yeah, I have a Patreon, patreon.com/ATX crypto. Starts out at $55 for a month. I do a one-on-one consultation with you. We can set up and game plan anything with you. And again, if you want to continue maintaining the membership and supporting the channel, you definitely can. If it's something that you just want to lower yourself down into a lower tier, which we've had people do in the past as well, you still get access to all the spreadsheets and everything as well. But just to kind of give you a quick example here, this is a Patreon right here, and you're more than welcome to go here to patreon.com/ATX crypto. Again, you can click the QR code if that's easier for you. If you're on a computer, you can actually click the little QR code on screen right now. But I have 2 tiers, $5 a month, get you access to all the spreadsheets that we just looked at, something like this right here, where you have access to these, how to become a millionaire. You have price predictions for Pulse Chain. You actually get profit taking strategies as well. At the same time, you get all of that. With the $55 a month call, you do a phone call for one-on-ones. Live Q&A questions. If anyone has anything, of course, you're welcome to pull up all of that information, and I'm happy to share that information with you. So fun information right there, but hopefully that makes sense. But yes, there's a little strategy right there. If you want to go ahead and set up that one-on-one, you're definitely more than able to. What do we got up here? Optimality says hello. Hey, what's happening, my friend? How you doing, Optimality? John East, you mentioned moving a lot of your bag to a new wallet. Yeah, exactly. And this is probably an older comment, but yeah, I do plan on moving the bag because it depends on if you sacrifice, if you have hex stakes or not. Like, if you have hex stakes, it doesn't have the same method as if you did not sacrifice, or if you sacrificed and did not have hex stakes. If you have hex stakes on it, I do not claim any airdrops on those, personally, right? Like, I do not want to jeopardize my hex stakes. I think that is a way to easily get wrecked, picking up pennies in front of a freight train. Now, you never want to be the first on claiming airdrops either, so let other people experiment with it. And then if you ever want to, you can eventually go through and say, okay, I'm okay. It's proven to be okay many times, right? But I have a wallet that I sacrificed that does not have any hex stakes, that had not have any other crypto, And I plan on taking that money when Pulse Chain launches and taking those tokens and moving all of them into a separate wallet completely. That wallet will still be maintained in my possession. The original one that I sacrificed from will still be maintained in my possession. But I can then feel free and comfortable claiming airdrops. I don't have to worry about that wallet being compromised. So when I see an airdrop come out, because there's going to be a lot, and I mean a lot of airdrops, folks. There's going to be so many airdrops when Pulse Chain launches. People are trying to get you to start using the new tokens, trying to get their name out, trying to show out on a new thing, a new project. So be careful. Be freaking careful on airdrops. You do not have to claim every airdrop. You just don't. Like, I personally have still yet to claim the communist token. I just don't like the name of it. I disagree with that alone. So for that reason, I'm out. But for other people, they've done it. They've claimed it. They've done it many times, and that's cool. I just won't interact with that myself. I don't like it. So again, nothing with the protocol. Again, it's an anonymous founder. We know it's Kodiak or whatever, but that's just an example. I digress, but that's just an example. There's going to be tens of hundreds of airdrops that are going to be launching when Pulse Chain happens. So be careful picking up pennies in front of a freight train. Please, please, please. If you have your hex stakes and that's where you sacrifice from, I personally don't recommend claiming airdrops. At least don't be the first to claim the airdrop. All right? Let other people experiment with their money first. Show you that it's safe. Once they haven't been hacked after like 30 days, then cool. You know what I mean? You can start participating if you really want to. But that's just kind of my thought process on it. I'm moving all of my Pulse and Pulse X to a new hardware wallet. Facts. And another thing too, guys, like I highly suggest that everyone go to revoke.cash. Okay? Highly suggest it. Revoke.cash will be available on Pulse Chain too. But revoke.cash, what it does is it allows you the ability to revoke permissions that you have granted in the past. This is just an example of a wallet address that I grabbed from here. And I just, I haven't even looked at hex price to stream at all today. It's funny, it's 9 cents, cool. So let's just say like this wallet right here. I just would use this as an example. I can click in here and go to revoke.cash and you can just type in your address. You don't have to connect your wallet if you don't want to. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to. But the idea is you can see that this person has several websites that they have allowed unlimited spending of their tokens on. Okay? So this is basically saying that if 1inch was to ever, for whatever reason, end up hacked, they have unlimited allowance to do a bunch of stuff. And this just happened March 6th of 2022. So a year ago, they haven't even used it. Well, they can revoke it. You can only revoke it when you actually connect your wallet. You truly have to connect at that point in time. But it costs like $1, man. And if you're gonna revoke the transaction, then just do it. It costs like $1. It's very simple. It doesn't cost much. But look at all these things. They're sitting on 275,000 hex inside their wallet, liquid right now. That MetaMask has unlimited spending permission on. That Permit 2 has unlimited spending permission on. Uniswap has unlimited spending permission, and they haven't interacted with them since like March of 2022. Icosa, again, this is fairly new, right? Maxi, they haven't interacted with this one since May of 2022. Like, go through and revoke these permissions, folks. It just makes sense. That's just my personal thoughts. Hopefully that makes sense as to why, but yeah, you definitely want to use revoke.cash. And yeah, that's why. Shady, CoinGecko remove PLS from search, and CMC remove PLS from watch list. Yeah, I don't really care for those websites. I don't use them. They are, they're exactly like you said. They're shady. They're silly. CoinGecko just basically copies, CMC. So anyways, it's just a pain in the arse, but this is part of that whole gatekeeping, and we know about it. And, it just means that the less and less people that know about it, the more your potential reward could be in the future, as long as you can hold on and delay gratification. Love that. No fine. Yeah, exactly. Pac-Man, your idea. I'll give you credit on that one. Yeah, this right here, not financial advice, came from Pac-Man. Much love to Pac-Man on that one for putting that comment there. Thanks for the shout out, bro. Well deserved, well earned. Pac-Man, you've coined that one here. Congrats. See? I was saying, you definitely did. Hi, Cookie. Yeah, I'll give Pac-Man the credit on that one for sure, for sure. This little thing right here, the not financial advice, came from Pac-Man. So kudos to him for just suggesting that I put that up there. Might as well. CYA, always CYA, right? Yeah, everyone's saying hi. Happy Sunday, all. Happy Sunday to every single one of you beautiful people. Revoke is working on V3. Let's go. That's freaking awesome. That's really cool. That's really cool. I didn't know that. Do you have to import like your own? Okay, let me check something out. Now you got me curious. Now I got me curious, so I'm gonna switch it over here to Pulse Chain Testnet and make sure we're on Testnet v3. And let me just connect real quick. My wallet. It shows up there. Pulse Chain Testnet. Oh, that's so freaking cool. That is really cool. It does show up. Awesome. 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 Okay, cool. Let me go back to here and just see if I can click on get started. Yeah, so I've already connected this wallet again. This is a dummy wallet here, but you can kind of see what I've already allowed the authorization on with the Pulse Chain Testnet right here. So how cool is that? That's so freaking cool. This is Pulse Chain Testnet right here. Yeah, you can see it, Pulse Chain Testnet. Look at all the testnets that are out there, folks. There's plenty of them out there. We need to get on the Gorelli network, man. I'm telling you, Pulse Ramp needs to hook up the Gorelli network so we can see this is the Ethereum Gorelli network. It would actually work as a bridge at that point in time, and we can see dollar values. And at that point, I'm sure when dollar values become a thing, that's when limit orders would also become a thing. Because you can't really do limit orders with ratios. Like, I'm sure you could. I'm sure they would allow you to, but like if you can't do a limit order, how would it know when to execute based on a ratio? And I just don't see that being possible. So that's why we're missing limit orders, in my opinion, on testnet right now. The buy and burn function, again, if there's no dollar value, how's it going to assign how much to burn? How's it going to assign how much to pay? It's tough. There needs to be a bridge for all these functions to be able to become a thing. But yeah, this is basically saying that I've allowed unlimited spending on Pulse X, and I've allowed unlimited spending on Pulse liquidity providing token. So if I click on here, does it let me use TPLS? You can actually use TPLS. Oh snap, that's so freaking cool. So again, I've already got TPLS inside this account right now. So this is basically saying that it's going to cost like 0.00005 TPLS to revoke. So I can actually come in here and click approve, and it would actually revoke the permission to spend PLSX. Oh goodness, that's freaking cool. All right, appreciate you sharing that information on that one, Chris Side Effects. Much love. Didn't know that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, folks, that is going to wrap up this stream for today. It has been an absolute wonderful hangout session today with all of you beautiful people. I hope your weekend has been lovely, has been enjoyable, has been relaxing, ex the April Fool's nonsense that came about. However, guys, we have Pulse Chain happening super freaking soon. Stay tuned, because we have way more content coming along. Smash the like, smash the subscribe, share with other people that you know could find some help with all of the information that we discuss here in this little video. I hope y'all all have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, my friends. Again, stay positive and keep calm and hex on. Peace.